Ryan Nocera from Precision Trading Labs, bringing you our weekly video. And usually this is done by our aforementioned head trader, Mitch Firestone, but he is traveling today to see the eclipse. So I am in the last day of my kids' spring break, so I couldn't get to this over the weekend. So I am just doing the video where the market's open. So it's going to be an interesting change here. Let's see what goes on. If you give me 1 second, I'm going to start up the disclaimer, and then we will get into the market. All right, guys, let me leave this up here and leave the disclaimer there. You can also find the disclaimer in the description. So, but I want you guys to see it for your safety and ours. But let's jump into the market. SPY was a difficult week last week. I talked to a few people. Hold on 1 second, guys. There's a train going by. Like I said, I apologize. I'm traveling, so last day of spring break and all, but I'll be home back in this city today. Anyway, this is the SPY. You can see it hit kind of that high right there where there's, I guess you'd call that a sloppy supply, but wasn't my favorite. So I didn't take a short there, but came in, kissed this, and just sold right off. Believe it was the Fed governor talking about potentially the rate cuts. So, we recovered a little bit. And then here we are today. This is the Monday candle right there. We're stuck inside that prior day's trading range. As a mentor of mine said, those are the days designed to steal your money. So you don't want to be trading under those circumstances. So there's nothing really here on the SPY that I really want to write home against. Just for fun, let's drop down to like a lower time frame, like the hourly, and just see if there's something nearby that we may want to push off of. I am going to get to the Qs in a second. I want to show you one of the trades Mitch put out that worked out really well, and then we'll go through some of the other symbols and see what we can do. Yeah, nothing really here. I could make something out of some of this, but I think we would be trading malpractice. So we're kind of just stuck in this range until we break one way or another. I think there's nothing really sexy here on the SPY. So let's drop down to the Qs. I'm going to do a mix of the major market ETFs, and then we'll do a couple of interesting tech names. Let's look at the Qs. And that story is going to look slightly different. And I'm going to show you a screenshot of something Mitch gave you guys that was in here, and then also to our community that worked really well. So here we are. The story doesn't look that different. It kind of came into sloppy supply, sold off. The one thing that did happen is that before this big sell-off, we gapped down into here, and we had a really nice long on, I believe, a 2 hour. Sorry, another train going by. All right. So you'll see that old demand zone, kiss. Price jumped up there. And just so you guys know, I do have the before picture. This is what it looked like when Mitch designed it last week. And this is also, I believe Mitch, this is from our community also. Oh, yes, the last Tuesday session, we talked about this. And it's funny, the Qs worked out really well. The SPY was less good. So price comes in, kisses. Oh, it did go to 3-1. All right, he had a pretty great entry there. Wow, okay. I actually thought it missed the 3-1 mark by a little bit. Mitch is pretty good, if not excellent, at like not trying to get every penny out of his trades. I sometimes just like wind up watching things, not just staying in them a little too long. Not always. Just one of those things that I've still, one last bad habit, right? Hang on, let's go look at Apple. And Mitch had a phenomenal long there. I think it was last week. I'm just going to clean this chart up, I mean. Oof. So I think he had a long in here. right? But we got to go back and look. So let me give you the before picture what the level looked like. So it was right around that 168 mark. This is where it is. When Insider Community, he gives a fully detailed trade on everything on like which usually we're doing an option trade. So like buy this call with this expiration date at this strike and then suggest a premium to pay. Works out really well. So this is the before picture of what he was looking at. Let me show you what happened after. And there it is, touching the 168.60, and then 3-1, bam. In here is where I really thought we'd get a short. We missed it by a few pennies, but it is what it is. But he wrote it long. I missed this one. I did have the Qs, and I had a ES trade that looked about the same. But, here we are on Apple. It's odd. I don't know why the market's not loving up on Apple. Let's drop down a weekly. Just see. Wow. Okay, we're in here might be something. I think even Mitch talked about it in one of the videos, the weekly level, or maybe even during one of our sessions. I could see this turning into something. Wow, 160. It's not too far from that. Wow, we don't really trade weekly charts a lot, but right in here. Not my favorite looking level, but that move up, you can't deny it. So, looks like that 160, just below 165, with the stop at 159. Looks like a healthy trade with. I'm curious that I don't really love. We're gonna see how it makes entry, and then maybe 180 for a reversal point right there. So ride it up to 165. Wait and see on that one, but that's where we are on Apple. Let's look at Microsoft because I think Mitch also has a. Oops. Sorry, guys. We'll look at Microsoft. You know what we didn't look at is IW. Oops. Sorry, guys. Hold on me. Hang on. I hit just one too many buttons. Hang on. Sorry. Be patient with me. What is going on? Hold on, let me just so you guys don't have to deal with this. Sorry, sometimes the internet gets buggy when you're in a hotel internet. I should have gone down to the business center at the hotel, but all right, let's go over to Microsoft. And Mitch identified this supply here at that 430 area. It was an interesting play. I don't know. It worked out really well. It wasn't my kind of trade, just being near all-time highs, but Mitch did it in last week's video and worked like a charm. So there's the area, Mitch. I'll grab the screenshot in a second, but let's go over here. Sorry, the Wi-Fi got buggy here all of a sudden. Hopefully my voice is coming through okay. Identified that as supply. It's really having a hard time push through it, which is interesting. Um, you would think it being Microsoft, it'd slice through. Yeah, you get your short and then start pushing. So far, not so much. It is that inside day. I'm curious why that's slowing down here. I mean, we are getting towards earnings, so could be that. Let's drop down to something on the lower time frame, see if we see anything on Microsoft. And then I think I'm going to call it quits and look at IWM because we have a trade pending there in the community, so I figured I could show you guys that. Yeah, bro, garbage on the 2 hour. I'm not going to go lower than. I mean, this is Microsoft, guys. Wow, that's interesting. The market's doing this. I have a theory that it's right before earnings season. This starts to happen. The market starts to get wiggy, and it needs earnings to. I don't trade earnings. We don't do anything with earnings. We know how to do it if you forced us to, but we don't really recommend trading earnings here. So it almost needs to be like a bloodletting a little bit, or it's got to break high or low because of the earnings announcement, and then the market will start to digest the information. We get back to normal, but the lead up to it can be kind of a pain in the butt for a little while. But this is Microsoft. Looks like we're coming down a little bit here, and the market's running. So that's my 2 cents there. We're kind of like in no man's lair on Microsoft. Let's end with IWM. Oh, you know what? We should look at Tesla because I got to look at it anyway. So let's go to the daily on the IWM. So here we are. Now this is outside the prior day's trading range, which is interesting. So we'll see what we can find here, and I'll show you. I think Mitch laid it out on a 2 hour. So that came through. This is that old supply right there. Price came up, kissed, and just sold off. Now we're doing a little bit of nothing, but interesting since this is outside its prior day's trading range. If we get entry here, that looks like a potentially nice trade on a pullback. Let's see what happens here. Today's a day to be cautious, with it being an inside day as we lead into earnings and so on. But I like this area a lot here, just above 200. Let's see if we get a pullback into there. So that's the IWM on the 2 hour. Let's just go to Tesla, and we'll call it a day. And we had kept an eye on this weekly area here. I'm not going to drop down on the weekly. It's still, look, it's a mess, man. It needs to get through earnings, I guess, to clean some of this out. It needs a push higher or lower. Wow. I say this all the time as we lead into earnings. People kind of blow me off as it can't move around the futures and can't move around the ETFs. Yeah, BS. The ETFs are all made up of friggin' stocks, right? So there's nothing pretty on Tesla at all. Wow. I mean, I could make that into something because of that gap down and really the lead to that, but not the cleanest looking area. So we're kind of in no man's land on a lot of these big picture names. That's interesting. Apple didn't have much. IWM was probably the best trade I laid out there. As far as like higher quality, the rest is kind of like just we're sitting in waiting mode. This is the hardest thing for traders to do, right? Is being patient. So I'd highly recommend everyone just sit on their hands until they're set up forms. Hopefully, if you trade supply and demand like Mitch and I do, if you're a member of our community, you're kind of getting that talk constantly from us. But if you're not a member of our community, you got to force discipline upon yourself. That being said, if you'd like to know more about what we do and how we can help you, I'm going to put a link in the description to my calendar, you're welcome to schedule a call with me. I'll take you through this entire. I'll build a trade live with you, and then we will, see if this is what we do is for you. It may not be. We only want to work with people who want to work with us, and then we'll take it from there. But with that, I'm going to sign off on today's video. If you guys have any, please like and subscribe to our channel. Let me know what else you would like to know that I didn't really get through today. And then, we'll spend more time on some other stuff next week. But otherwise, I will see you on the next video. Talk to